Hello everyone, my name is Andrew Kim. Today, let me introduce the book Talking to My Daughter About the Economy, written by Yanis Varoufakis. This book is composed of 8 chapters that explain the most basic elements about the economy. The chapters are: Why so much inequality? The birth of market society, the marriage of debt and profit, the black magic of banking, two Oedipal markets, haunted machines, the dangerous fantasy of apolitical money, and stupid viruses. Of course, I would love to introduce all 8 chapters, but due to the time constraint, I'll focus on chapter 7, the dangerous fantasy of apolitical money. To explain the concept of apolitical money, the writer used the example of POW camp. POW, prisoner of war camp, is the place where British, American, and French soldiers were captured by Nazis stayed. The living condition of the camp was overseen by the Red Cross, which provided packages that contained various items like coffee, tea, and cigarettes. At first, the soldiers voluntarily exchanged their items based on their preference levels, which brought mutual benefit. British soldiers exchanged their coffee with French soldiers' tea. Then, this simple trade advanced to a more complex one that included medians. The trade of coffee to tea changed to coffee to cigarette to tea. Why? It was because the medians allowed people to find a wider range of exchanging opportunities. Previously, soldiers who wanted tea and did not need coffee had to find someone who wanted coffee but did not need tea in order to trade their items, but now the soldiers could simply transfer their items to cigarettes and use that cigarette to exchange it with any items. In other words, cigarettes became the money in the camp. Then what decided the value of the money? What decides how much teas, coffees, and chocolates could be exchanged by one cigarette? The answer is supply and demand. When more British soldiers came into the camp and the demand of tea increased, one cigarette valued less tea. However, in the case of the coffee, since the demand of coffee shifted to tea, the demand of coffee decreased and one cigarette could value more coffee. The problem is the demand of the items could be controlled by the soldiers, but not the supply. The soldiers couldn't make more tea if they wanted. The greater problem is, and the difference between the political economy and apolitical economy is that the money, or the cigarette in this case, weren't made by the government, but by an individual party. In the case of POW camp, it was the Red Cross that provided the cigarettes, not a government formed within the soldier society, which means that the amount of cigarettes was not controlled by economic analysis based on supply and demand, but it was controlled arbitrarily by a random group. Even if number of smokers decreased and the number of cigarettes increased, the Red Cross provided the same amount of cigarettes every day, which caused inflation. Even if more soldiers got stressed and smoked a lot, which caused a dramatic decrease in the number of cigarettes, the Red Cross still provided the same amount of cigarettes, which caused deflation. So this is the greatest problem of the apolitical money. Since the government does not control the amount of money, its value can change drastically based on various social phenomena or policies made by the government. Now, to relate this to the world that we are living in, the biggest example of apolitical money is Bitcoin. Bitcoins aren't run by any governmental party, but it is controlled by all the Bitcoin users. The transactional information gets shared to all the users by the blockchain technology, and the value of Bitcoin depends on how much people buy or sell them, not by the government. From POW camp economy to Bitcoins, most of the apolitical monies are generally understood as ineffective, and the writer of this book also focused on its limits. But are there no benefits that apolitical money have? Well, apolitical monies also have some benefits, which is that since it is not operated by the government, the currency doesn't differ based on each country. In the case of political money, it is different in every country. The US uses USD, Korea uses won, and Japan uses yen. However, in the case of Bitcoin, everyone around the world uses Bitcoin. This can bring 2 big benefits, which are: first, there is no need to exchange money when we move from one country to another. And second, there is no possibility of a certain country's currency dramatically collapsing due to the country's economic status. Just like Chapter 7, other chapters also include very interesting economic concepts and some examples that help us understand. I highly recommend this book to people who are new to economics and the people who want to know more about the fundamental concepts and terms of economics. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video helped you a lot.